This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Hello, I'm recording.
You're recording.
Hello,
Look
I'm
at
John,
that.
and I'm sick.
He's John.
I'm John.
Oh,
I'm
he's
sick.
John.
And he's sick.
I'm
John.
Again.
It's another week, but I don't want to talk about Nazis, guys. I
sick.
don't want
Nazis.
I mean, I don't dislike talking about this movie, though.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I
Okay.
thought it was a good movie.
Oh, I'm glad someone
I'm
did.
glad.
Huh.
Yeah. So we're watching all the best movies in the world, apparently, according to IMDb. We're according to a bunch of young males circa early 2000s. Is my
Yeah, maybe
guess.
that could be true.
That might be the
Yeah.
list. Who
Yeah.
knows? But American History X came out in 1998. Stars Edward Norton and Edward Furlong. From henceforth will be known as the Eddies. That's what I'm going to call
Mhm.
it.
Okay, that's fair.
Mhm.
We have Ed Norton at the height of his career prime.
You
This
think?
is Pete. Well, I mean, given what he had just done and what he was coming off of, yeah, this is like.
This is before Fight Club. Fight Club was the next year. So this is,
was it before Fight
yeah,
Club?
this is right after Primal Fear, I think.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but that was a
The
big role
90s
for
were
him, though, right?
big for him. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, now
yeah,
he does
yeah.
shitty things in Wes Anderson movies. Like he's Anyway, American History X, directed by Tony Kaye.
Yeah.
Tony Kaye.
Yeah, a.k.a. Humpty Dumpty.
He's an interesting guy.
Did you read the Humpty Dumpty thing, John?
Yeah, I did read that. I
TC
thought that
did
was-
plugged in some requests to the AI to give us some good trivia, and the Humpty
Yeah.
Dumpty thing is the one that came out. So
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
we'll get into
Yeah.
that. There's some
Yeah.
little story behind the making of this movie and the release of it. But
Yep.
John, guess what? John is sick. It's wintertime, so this is what you get.
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
lives in the Midwest, so he's sick because that's the way it goes. He's got kids.
Right.
Now you get to listen to his
Nasally voice.
Yeah.
even more
Hate-
nasally than
even
usual.
more
Potentially
nasally than
dislike
usual.
this movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
talk
right.
about how he doesn't like this movie that you, listener,
Yeah.
probably love. Here you go.
Yeah.
Well,
There we
all right.
go.
There I am. Thanks. This topic is insanely important, and it's critical, and it's even more timely than ever. So I really think it's trying to understand some of the perspective of these white nationalists, of these racists. It's really an important topic. And so I there's parts of this movie that gives you glimpses of that I think is important, and it has some of the stuff in there. Some of the violence is really disturbing and well done for what it is. A lot of the movie is clunky, though. It feels like an after school special sometimes. Like it is really surprising. I mean, I think we're spoiled.
When's the
maybe
last time you
because
saw it, John?
Yeah, a long time ago.
I saw it a long time ago, too.
I was
Yeah,
impressed by
same,
this. Yeah, I
same.
was impressed by it when I
Yeah.
saw it then, because this was all new to me. I hadn't thought of this shit. I didn't know
Right.
anything about this stuff at all.
Well, I think what died in filmmaking is slow-mo.
Oh man, so much slow motion, so much
And that
extreme
really-
close-ups of faces.
Really took me out of it sometimes.
Yeah,
but
that too.
overall, I
and
liked it.
some of the characterizations are just so like meant to. You're supposed to hate these people. So, I mean,
Oh, like
except
the
for
stupid prisoners?
Yeah,
God
yeah.
damn, were they bad?
Yeah.
Were they
Yeah.
not the worst?
And then, or his girlfriend
I
was
know.
just. I mean, they just portrayed her so awful. Or the buddy from My Name Is Earl.
I mean, he was great. I thought he was funny.
But he
He
was
was
over
jelly
the top.
beans all over the
jelly
place.
beans? Yeah,
What
that
an
was great.
asshole. Get out of the
I
house.
was like, this guy's the best.
He was.
And
It
of
was
course-
it was over the top comical.
Of course, he's the fucking bug guy. I mean, that's a great backstory for that character.
I know, but
right?
it almost
Yeah.
seemed. It was almost comical how like that didn't seem a real character in a sense. It was just, and that was sort of weird. I think that just some of the dialogue is delivered very badly. I don't know. Like again, not used to this.
I love
What a
this.
way to-
I was worried
What
that
a
we were
way
gonna.
what a way to come right out with it. Yeah.
Even like again, like I mean, Avery
At
Brooks
the
is
end,
great,
when his brother
but-
dies, and he's like, "Oh God, no! Oh
Oh,
right.
God,
that was
no!"
a shitty performance.
Yeah, you're like, come
it
on.
was.
Tough.
And again, I really liked Ed Norton in Fight Club. I really liked him in Birdman. I have often just don't think he's much. Otherwise, I don't really think he does much.
You ever seen Primal Fear? That was also good.
Was it pretty good?
That's
I
top-
haven't
top
seen
tier
Primal.
Edward Norton.
It's like Richard Gere, right? He's the bad
Yeah.
guy in Primal Fear, I think.
Spoilers.
Anyway,
He's on trial
Oh,
for
as
being
if-
the bad guy.
As if
Richard Gere
anybody's
can't be the
watching
bad
that
guy.
movie
Oh, it's
these
great.
days.
Primal
on.
Fear, it's a great movie.
No one's heard of that movie in so long.
Remind me, I have an idea for a movie topic for us later, to pick. But anyway,
We might need
I'm
it.
gonna-
This is
yeah,
low
I'm
on
probably
trivia.
No, that's fine. So again, and Ed Norton, I don't know. This feels like it glorifies him in a way, just not necessarily
Look
whether
at how
he's a
jacked
racist or
he
not
got.
racist.
Look at him in his underwear.
But
Slow-mo. Look at that guy.
Right. The
It's
way
great.
it shoots him, it's like, and you find out later that Ed Norton did the editing, supposedly.
Did he
So,
really?
He
yeah.
took over the control of the edit somehow,
Oh, that's
which
why
is
Humpty Dumpty. There we go.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I didn't actually read the trivia. I just
Humpty
sent
Dumpty
it.
had the editing rights stripped away from him during post production.
Can you believe that, folks?
So the story, I wish this was better because the idea of like being racist and what it feels like and how you're trapped in it, how it's part of how you survive, and then what sort of set of circumstances might lead you to get out of it is really compelling. And here it's just I don't
Yeah,
know.
none of
I
it is
just
done
don't-
very well.
No, I don't. And
It's
like,
not
why is he
realistically
not-
done, and it's also
why-
kind of
why-
stupid.
Right. And why is he not a racist anymore? Oh well, maybe it's because he got gang raped by racists. Now he's not a racist. I don't know. And it just
No, it's because he made
Well,
friends
and
with
it's
the
'cause
funny
he made
guy,
friends,
the black
yeah,
guy.
he made friends
Well,
with
he
the,
made
the
friends
black
with
guy.
one black guy. Actually,
Yeah.
I liked their the simulated sex scene went on for a long time and didn't need to. But
It was slow mo too. I was like, what are
Anyway,
they doing?
But I
Oh, you
did
know,
like
John, you're talking about the joke towards the middle.
the
where
joke
he, where
that
he
went on. That
turns.
joke went on a long time.
And you're talking about when
Uh,
he's fucking Fruza
Oh, no.
Balk in the beginning
No.
TC, right?
Oh yeah. That also that's a different
Brutal.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't understand it in the sense of, and I don't see him. It's just odd.
There
It's
are
not like-
children in this house, sir. Quiet your
Yeah.
girlfriend down for fuck's
That's
sake.
right. Well, first I thought he was raping her because I saw like that she was tied or something, and I was like, "Oh God, what is this?" And
There's a little bit of that, yeah. I think
Anyway.
they were trying to make it like they were trying to, there was a lot of that, like where you had to like feel bad because you liked him. And then like the next scene, you're like, I hate this guy. And then the next
Right.
scene, you're like, he's all right.
Right.
And those are one of those
again,
moments.
I think it's the idea makes a lot of sense. The idea that these people aren't like, they're not demons. They're raised this way. There's something that you're brought up in that causes this. And then that doesn't mean you can't change. All
I
of
don't
that
know,
is
though.
compelling.
I don't think it's in there, though. You're describing something that
No,
would
no,
be
no.
good if it was in there,
no,
but it's not.
only in there because they spoke about it at the end.
Right.
with,
I feel like the movie's trying to do that. I don't
Yeah.
think it's in there very well, but I think that's kind of what the
All the
movie's
other
trying to
Nazis are
do.
like the one, like the girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's also one. It's stupid that he goes to this Nazi encampment and thinks that anyone likes him for him and not for the Nazi stuff. They're all 100% Nazi things.
Also,
right?
what I didn't quite get there is if he doesn't care about it, why go?
Right. I don't. Well, he's.
They're not beating down the door to see him. Like he could have just stayed
He
home.
should just got his family and fucking got out of there. They should just
Yeah.
go now. They
Right.
should get out
Right.
now. There's no way that, at least the way they were setting it up, he's fucked now. If this is what he's going to do, is he's going to go in there and beat the shit out of the lead Nazi guy.
Right. But
Then-
also, you're
then
saying that
you think
they're
he's
trying to
okay,
say
but-
that like they're not caricatures or they
Right.
are people, but like the
Right.
girlfriend isn't a person. The fact that she just like turns and says shoot him immediately, like that's not a person.
Same thing. His friend is not a person. His overweight friend is not a person.
Right.
It's like the Cameron guy is not even a person.
Yeah.
These are all caricatures, except for glorious Ed Norton.
And the thing is, it's tough though, right? Because
you
like
know,
I don't know anybody that's racist, so I think the
Yeah.
movie gets away with it because it's like, well, they don't seem like people, but I also don't know people that's racist, so maybe
Yeah.
it's like a good portrayal, and maybe I shouldn't criticize it and let it pass. That's what I was feeling when I was watching.
maybe,
what
but-
I was thinking though is it was hitting on the stereotypes of the time too.
Yeah.
Like that's what people thought at the time about
Maybe.
those types of crowds. Because it wasn't like just get rid of it. It's awful. It was just like, can you believe these fucking idiots actually are this
Right.
racist?
Well, but the
You know what I
rhetoric
mean?
is still like that's the exact like,
Like-
the where Ed has his speech moment before they go and horrifically do the grocery store scene. That rhetoric is exactly the same rhetoric that's there right now. Like about
honestly, this movie could have come
and-
out right now with some of the viewpoints.
it's the same
Yeah.
shit that's being said, and it's being said. It's also being said by politicians, a slightly less worse language, but the same shit is being said. The same messages are being conveyed. Oh, they're streaming across our borders. They're taking all the good jobs. They're taking things away from hardworking Americans. All of that rhetoric is there, and it's something that a certain branch or a certain group of politicians have capitalized upon in order
Way
to
to
motivate
stay
the
neutral,
motivates.
John. Way to stay
Yeah,
neutral there.
very well done. I
Yeah,
have to
that's
say.
right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so all of that is, I just wish this was much more than it was, and that bums me out a bit. And I'm so used. I think we're spoiled. We've seen so many good films, so many well constructed films, well acted, directed, all that stuff, and this just feels. There are moments that still are compelling, but man, there's a lot of it that's just like. He's not just a skinhead. He's the skinhead. We're going to do this,
right,
and we're going to call it.
Everybody's so happy to see him.
Right.
Yeah.
First 15 minutes of the movie, we're going to have you do this project. We're going to call it American History X. And it's just like, whoa, that really feels clunky.
This is Edward Norton. Guess what? He's a skinhead and he gets to fuck the only skinhead girl and he's good at basketball. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, and the slow-mo. You're right to call it the slow-mo. That's something
The
you haven't seen a
slow-mo
lot
was
of
the
a while,
worst
yeah.
No,
part, I think.
the
of film.
basketball scene was the
Yeah.
worst part. That whole scene lasted like 5 minutes and it was not exciting.
Yeah.
And, it was somewhat necessary because it led to the.
No, but
car
what I
stealing later,
noticed
but-
about that scene and why I was like, why am I finding the scene good? And because it was really bad. And it's because it's like every other game. They like edited it like it was a basketball game. So then like all of a sudden you're kind of like, well, how do you not, you want to see someone win.
Yeah.
Right. And then whoever's up, you're like, hey, I want to see this person. Like, who's going to win? All right. I'm into it now. And then you're like, why am I into this? Right. And so for a second there, I had to catch myself because I was like, oh, who's going to get it? Is he going to get it? All right. And I'm like following the game. And
Well,
then I'm
hey,
like, wait
so
a
they
second.
gotcha.
What is, yeah. So it worked.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I just kept
if,
thinking, like, who would put this big fat guy in their team? He's not even doing anything. They kept cutting to him with like his suspenders down around his
the whole
pants.
thing about the bet. Why are they like the whole thing about the
they're
bet?
just
yeah,
trying
so
to show.
stupid.
They're just trying to
That
show
was
build
like
up how he's
the
respected,
dumbest
how he got
catalyst.
things done, how he stood up to the black guys, how that was part.
No.
they're
The
trying
bet
to,
from the original guy that kicked it all off. The
Oh,
big fat
right,
guy,
right. What
The
that
bet
was,
the
yeah.
catalyst. It was like, this
Oh,
is the
yeah.
dumbest,
Yeah.
most contrived way into this like set of circumstances for the hero.
Right.
to
Again, after
overcome.
school special seeming
Yeah.
for, you leave the playground for good if
Yeah.
you lose this one. It's like,
Mm.
okay. Anyway, so yeah, I really wanted to like this film more, because it's so relevant and it's such a good topic. I mean, there's this idea of what do you do? How do you explore this idea of bad people? These really sort of this vile approach to life, and how do you explore it and understand it? And it's still, these people are humans. People are brought up this way, and it's not necessarily like you're just born racist. And that's the way you are. This is part of your upbringing. It's part of like the people you hang out with and how that influences you and how hard it is to get out of it if that's where you're brought up.
Right. And the story really is just like, what are the consequences of hating other people? I think that in itself is a great fucking theme and a great idea. You know,
and
like,
the message is, that one question of, well, what have you, did anything you do make it better?
That made your life better. That was a great question.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That's like,
But then it's that kind of gets taken away because someone in the studio or Ed Norton had their way with the damn edit and wanted to make it perfect TV ready, which I guess was.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's certainly a popular and good, at least. I think the message.
I think the idea in theory was great.
Yeah.
It's a great idea for a story. I think just some of the.
Yeah, I think people are like the
Execution
highest.
was
The high
lame.
rating is because this movie, there's not a lot of equivalents for movies about. I guess there's like the Black Klansman now exists. So that's more recent.
Yeah, but that's certainly not it's not trying to understand the white perspective.
Right. But I think that this one is, I don't know. I could see people walking away from this thinking this is pretty unique and then also agreeing totally with what the movie's trying to go for because it definitely lets you know what it's trying to say. Right.
Exactly.
I'm not sure it does it like subtly or well or whatever, but the
No,
message
but you're right.
is
And
there
I completely,
and it's
you
clear.
say it exactly right. Like I can completely agree with what the movie's trying to say. I'm all on board with that.
Right. So you're like, 10 out of 10. Yeah. And that scene where it kicked the guy's head in the curb, that was memorable. That's a 10 out of 10 right there.
Oh, and he doesn't seem to be too remorseful about that, even after he's changed. Whatever. But anyway,
yeah, none of the character stuff with him, like when he was smiling to his brother when he was getting arrested, I was like, why is he like, what is this? What is Edward Norton doing with his character? But then he's like
sad because his brother's on his knees. Then he wasn't smiling.
And then they started, their expressions were weird. I actually thought the smiling worked because it was like him thinking he was a god, right?
Yeah,
he
right,
did the whole Jesus thing. So that worked. But then when they cut back and he was sad all of a sudden, I mean, I guess they were trying to convey that like
he's
has those
conflicted.
rage moments and
Right.
then like comes to and doesn't
Right,
realize what he's
recognizing
done, right?
maybe, yeah.
But it didn't really land that well. I mean, I knew what they were trying to do only because I really thought it through for a second, but you're not supposed to have to think it through, right? Like that was
And same thing for that
confusing.
dinner scene, which I actually kind of liked most of that dinner scene where they got in the argument around the dinner table.
Right.
But then at the end, it made me annoyed because he's just like, I would never hurt you guys. I'm like, you just fucking
that made
did.
no sense. That made no sense.
Yeah, I was
know.
mad at the movie.
I know.
I was mad at the acting.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't make
But I
any
guess
sense.
also that could be relatable because people are like that when they're abusive.
That's
Yeah, but you
abusive
don't-
behavior. I
Right,
It is
but it's-
abusive behavior.
It's not. I don't know. When you say that, when we watch a movie, when you say that it actually happens, the movie needs to portray it as being real, right? If
Right,
I'm thinking
right.
that's
It
that's
doesn't
not real,
feel-
that's the fault of
right.
the movie.
No,
It doesn't mean it
you're
doesn't
right.
happen.
Right.
You're
right.
right. You're right. You're totally right.
Right.
You don't convey like you still don't get a sense of menace or hostility when that's happening. It's like it's not. Hey, when abuse is done well in a film,
There you go. There's you are graduated to a full-on critic now, John. Good job.
right? That's some good abuse.
Oh wow, what a great 10 out of 10 abuse.
But
Unbelievable
you get-
abuse.
The tension is there, even if the abuser is calmed down, the tension is there. That wasn't there.
No, it's like the
it was
scene
all-
skipped,
right.
and I was like, wait, what? That was
Right,
a terrible
right.
edit.
I-
This is terrible acting here at the end. Didn't
Yeah,
like
I
it.
get your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like the threat was gone somehow. I don't know what it was
Right.
about it. I think it was probably the acting, but
Yeah.
and just like the dialogue too. And you can blame a lot of that on Edward Norton and Edward Furlong, the Eddies. They did a lot of script
did a lot of improv.
improvising and script
Yeah.
changes and stuff,
Yeah.
which kind of comes across because I mean it does. Honestly, after watching Birdman, I like Birdman a lot too. But you know how Birdman is like a lot of the acting in it is them acting to pretend to be stage actors.
Right.
This movie feels like Edward Norton's performance when he's pretending to be a mediocre actor in Birdman.
Right. Right. That's why Birdman works so well.
Yeah, because he's like can do it, right?
Right.
And when he's a real
Yeah.
person, he seems like a real person. But in this one, he never seems like a real person, and
I agree.
nobody does.
And that's the whole. That's sort of then when you think about it, as much as you want to like what this movie scored, then it sort of defeats the purpose of the movie if these people don't feel real.
Mhm.
If it doesn't seem like
No, it's
this
okay,
is-
John, because it
yeah.
drives home the point. So it doesn't matter if it works because it
And-
totally
yeah,
makes it.
right,
clear.
yeah.
At least it doesn't. I don't know of any other film that does this point. I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's stuff out there. But
Yeah, they took some leeway with the story world, quote unquote.
The only thing I can think
Right.
of is like the Battle of Algiers, where it humanizes terrorists.
Oh, shit,
These-
yeah.
You know,
No,
these
no,
are
no, that's a good
technically
point.
terrorists too. So
Right, right.
kind of
Yeah.
that one does it a lot better.
Fuck yeah, that movie still. I still have feelings when I think about that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, that film is awesome. But yeah, you're right. That was one that really let you see a different side of things, not necessarily.
And it got you
didn't-
sympathizing because it let you
humanized
see,
them.
It humanized them, but it also let you see their point of view, right?
Yes.
Like this movie, I guess it tried to do that,
It tries.
but it tries so close. It's such like a simple way to view it. Like it's supposed to. You think like, all right, a guy with dark skin killed his father in a random shootout. That's the reason he's racist now. But that's
plus
not even
his dad
true.
is also racist,
right? Because they did
right.
that twist later on. I was like, what's the point
Yeah,
of this twist?
right.
He was going to be racist anyway.
Yeah.
I guess it was just like furthering his hatred
It was to
towards
show,
them.
Right, yeah,
no,
But, like,
it was to show that a person gets off track by simply being
But
indoctrinated
it's
by
there,
the
I
ones
guess.
around
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but it
the-
just
the-
shows it's
but
weird.
the
It's
problem
like,
with it was that it came too late.
Yeah.
There was no. It was like this backstory. It was
It
a
was like,
backstory
yeah,
that didn't
yeah.
really need to be there anymore. We're past this point, and now
Right,
it was
right.
like it was like, hey, in case you weren't paying attention, here's this. This really explains it all. It was his
Right.
dad.
He said-
it's always
and-
the dad. You
and it
know,
just
I mean,
comes
you guys
across
all
as
get
like-
it, right?
Yeah.
So
as like
yeah.
he just said this one thing this one time. I don't know, but that news interview scene was really awful.
It was so bad.
Oh,
it was
man.
so dumb.
That was
It
hard
so
to
dumb.
watch.
Like this, we got this tape courtesy of NBC. Watch this, cops.
Yeah, why? Yeah, and why are you showing this?
I love how
and
the
where is
interviewer
this?
just like stood there as he was like saying shit that was definitely not going to get on the air, and you're like, this would not happen. Okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And why
I
are
mean,
we seeing this again?
We've got the son here. His dad I guess they still sometimes try to do that.
Little
live.
Jimmy
Some-
wants to say something on the
little Jimmy wants to
news.
say something. His dad just died. We're here live with little Jimmy, whose dad just died. Go, Jimmy.
Go.
Well, how do you
these
feel, little
fucking
Jimmy?
people?
I'm a super racist. Whoa, didn't see
Yeah,
that
whoa,
coming.
Jimmy.
All right.
Okay, Jimmy,
You
go
really
back in
think
the
that's
house.
the case, Jimmy? Let's
Yeah.
discuss the source of your racism here
Let's
while we're on
unpack
live
that. Is
TV.
it your
and
dad?
just
Is it
died.
your dad? We gotta know. Is it your dad?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, also just bad acting all the way around. That newscast. I mean, you could have played that out to been like I don't know why. I don't know. You could just say this guy's a fucking racist. You don't need to see some this canned interview that was really odd.
Mm-hmm.
He already said he's the skinhead. Come on, what more do you need? I don't know. Jesus, it was Oof.
Yeah.
I was bummed. I really wanted to like this again.
I mean,
or
I still
appreciate
liked it.
more.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that the story, for the story's sake, it was good. I thought they just executed poorly a few times.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
You can see that. You can see what it's trying.
But the idea of the story was good because it's a story that I always like, the redemption. I love the redemption arc.
I do too.
Everybody else does too.
Yeah.
I don't like this one. I don't think he earned it. I don't think it was a realistic
What I thought was
redemption.
cool too is just seeing all the California stuff. Like you start to see, it's like, I know that spot. I know that spot. I know that spot. I know that spot. And it's like, you see that again. That's not what the movie's supposed to be doing, right? I'm paying attention to shit that's making it better. That's not part of the actual movie, but yeah.
You guys know where else we know Edward Furlong from, right? In terms of movies.
Terminator.
Yeah, he was the
John
kid in
Connor.
Terminator 2. He's John Connor in Terminator 2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he didn't.
He was about just as good. He was just about just as good in this as he was in that.
No way. He was way better in Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's right.
He was much more believable. I mean,
this one he's just like, oh man,
they're definitely coming to get you, man.
Come on, bro. I just want to be a Nazi. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
He wasn't as bad as I don't know. I thought he was
He was not great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Still better, and I don't know. He's a whiny teen, okay, but I guess it's still strange.
TC, what else you got positive to say on this one?
I don't know. Not much, I guess.
Curb stomping scene?
Yeah.
Pretty hard to watch.
It was.
That was.
I knew it was coming.
So did I.
Intense violence that you
I
don't
hadn't seen
forget.
this in like 20 years, so I was like, I wonder how bad this is going to be after all the other shit we've watched. And watching Hereditary last week, is it going to be bad?
Right.
It's pretty bad.
Well, and I don't know about you, but it's all I remember of this movie. So I kept waiting for it.
I forgot about the rape scene. I was like, oh, the teeth scene is worse than this rape scene.
And then I remember too, like, all right, this is bad. He gets fucking raped. I totally forgot about all of it. Yeah, I thought. I mean, again, I liked the story idea. I don't know, you're right with a lot of the things we've been saying. I'm kind of like walking it back now, but
it's okay.
I thought it did a lot of basic stuff that we all like in movies. So, and it had production behind it, you could tell. And it I guess my least favorite parts were the jail stuff because those actors were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like who hired them? Why did they get the role?
Again, they just all felt like
big.
stereotypes too.
Yeah,
I guess maybe they were just the closest ones on set at the time. Like, who you? We need you.
Yeah.
Edward's
look
going
like a
off
criminal
some
dust.
fucking tangent again, and we got to get some guys in the fucking weight room. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too many other positive things to say. I guess I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to like things.
And I liked I liked the fact that it's so similar to now, not in the sense of like it's a good or bad thing, but just the sense that like, wow, time changes, but things really don't. We pride ourselves on being this, progressive culture, and like you look back 20 years in a movie, and you're like, wait, it's basically the same still,
if not worse.
If not worse,
Yeah.
right? I know it's almost like we've gotten worse, and not even, So I don't know. I think it was a good movie to watch, and that's all I got.
Yeah,
really.
definitely. Yeah, with all the negative stuff said, I wouldn't disagree that it's worth a watch.
Mm-hmm.
Right, one watch,
Yeah.
because it is pretty unique. Because I think this topic is, especially with the language they use, it doesn't happen very frequently. Because I really felt with the combination. I think the reason I disliked it so much this time is the acting was bad and the dialogue was so full of slurs that like I felt like it. I didn't like it. I was like, well, at least like do it better. Act it better if you're going to be spouting this every 2 seconds.
Or
Or
have
have Samuel L. Jackson,
or have
whatever,
a better situation for getting
don't
to it. If you're going to use it.
Yeah.
Not a fucking interview, a news interview. Like,
Right.
It felt a little like a Tarantino movie, but Tarantino gets away with it because it's supposed to be like funny or something. But this one came across as like being a super serious movie.
Yeah. You're right. Well, no, with Tarantino, it's almost satire, or it's just everything's so off the wall that it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just
And I didn't like the beach. It opened with the beach, and I was like, "What the hell is this beach stuff?" It's like 3 minutes
I know,
of
it
beach
went
shots.
on a
What does
while.
this have to do with anything? And then
Right, I
at
don't
by
know
the
what
Just
this
in
end,
the Venice
yeah.
scene, man.
Is
they
this
came
like-
back
yeah,
to like them playing as kids in the beach, but that didn't come up in the plot. It's just like they
I
need to
know.
fill time. All right, let's show
Yeah,
some beach
I don't
shots.
know.
No,
little kids
it
in
came
there.
back once they were doing the basketball, right? Because that's where they were.
Yes.
'Cause they're
Yes, but it
supposed to be
just
in
seemed like
Venice.
they're
Oh,
trying
was
to
it?
be like artsy
Yeah.
or whatever, or like,
Yeah.
oh, this is some
Yeah, the
romantic-
basketball scene
The
is
tide
at
goes
the
in, the
Venice
tide goes out.
boardwalk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's art.
the basketball scene's at the Venice boardwalk. So
Okay. Oh, I didn't pick up on that. I just. 'cause
Yeah.
all right. So you got the architecture because you know exactly where that is.
yeah, I know where all the stuff is.
That
right.
scene
and,
did
and the
not
kid
focus on
went
the
to
beach
Venice
at
High
all.
School. The kid went to Venice High School, so
Right.
that's right there.
Yeah.
It's right,
But they
not
didn't
too far
spend-
down the road.
I guess being in the basketball court, John, did you pick up that was on the beach, the basketball
No.
court?
No, I didn't
No,
get it.
So-
you'd have to know the area,
right.
I think.
So they didn't
'cause it's
show it.
Gold's
So it
Gym
didn't
and the
like come
basketball
into the
area.
plot. Like sure they're on Venice Beach, but like the beach itself has nothing to do with the plot.
No,
Right.
no. But Denny, they don't care about you. They only care about the people they're showing this to in LA, and everybody's gonna know where that is. So it doesn't matter.
Well, is this Tony Kaye? I think this is an indie movie.
I'm just fucking around.
No, you're usually right, but I'm pretty sure this is an indie movie. So that might be one of the few times. Actually, $20 million budget. I don't know. I might have to look this up.
Hey,
more.
back then that's not too bad, huh?
No, it's
See,
a
right
lot.
now that's not too bad.
Well, I mean,
What did they
Edward
spend
was
that
this,
on?
Was this Edward Norton? Maybe
You'd be
No, he took a
surprised.
price
The
cut.
dumbest shit.
he did. He
Renting
took
out a
price
prison,
cut.
maybe, because that was definitely a real prison.
There's a lot of waste in filmmaking.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh
But-
yeah. New Indiana Jones cost $300 million. Where did that money go? You
Wow.
tell me that.
To get to shepherd people around.
I don't know. Did you
probably.
see it?
I saw the trailer. I saw 3.5 minutes of it. It's pretty damn terrible.
I saw the
It looked
trailer.
like shit.
That was enough for me.
It was way more than enough. Is that it? Is that all we got?
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, what
you
else?
know.
Yeah,
I got
you
a Humpty
anything?
Dumpty trivia over here.
Okay.
So this Tony Kaye guy, he wrote this script while he was in his apartment in L.A. during the L.A. riots after the Rodney King beating. So he came up with the idea during the riots.
But, he didn't write. He didn't write the script himself.
Sorry,
though.
the
I mean, it's like-
David McKenna was the guy who was
Right.
in the apartment. So
Gotcha.
David McKenna, the screenwriter, was in
director,
apartments.
writer, same thing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This is tough because I'm usually I'm used to getting like a lot of special features on Blu-rays
Yeah.
and stuff, and I've gotten used to remembering stuff through that medium rather
gotcha,
than reading
yeah.
the Wikipedia
Right.
page. But there was 0 special features on this, which sucks. Which is also kind of surprising because it is a pretty
Yeah, it is.
popular movie.
I think the studios were like,
Well,
no, we're not having anybody talk about
Yeah.
this stuff.
I know it
Yeah.
is a popular movie, but a popular movie that the director like abandoned,
True.
and tried to sue the because he wanted to
Great
make
points.
his film the way it was
Yeah.
and lost the lawsuit, but he wanted to do some kind of he wanted to completely recut it.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
wow.
then- so there was that.
So
that
can you
might have,
imagine
like-
the drama then? Because like we're seeing it firsthand, and it was like
certainly
this is
not going to
strange.
invite him to do
Yeah.
the commentary
Yeah.
at that point. But
Who knows? He said he well, let's get into it. So, screenplay was written. They brought the Tony Kaye. Tony Kaye is the director. So that
written
guy,
by David McKenna.
he was pissed that the screenplay changed a lot when they were making the movie because of all the improvisation between mainly the Eddies, but also some other people, including Guy Torrey. He's the buddy that did Laundry with Edward Norton. So that guy also did
Okay.
a lot of improv.
I liked him. I
laughed
enjoyed
at
their
the
interactions,
joke
but,
part
yeah.
where Edward Norton turns, but the shot of Edward Norton laughing and collapsing on the laundry had me cringe. You know, it was like the whole entire movie was like that. I was like, oh, that was pretty good. Oh, and then I'm out. And then it's like immediately
Yes.
something bad after something good. Okay. So Edward Norton also, after all that improv during the editing process, somehow took control. Never heard of this before. An actor taking control of an edit of a movie away from the director. And so it was after a working cut that Tony Kaye came up with. Edward Norton got in there, pushed out Tony Kaye, added in 18 minutes more in the movie,
Oh,
mostly
God.
of his acting.
Oh, geez, what a dick.
I don't know what it was before the working cut, but you can listen to like Tony Kaye talk about how the direction of the movie and the point of it was shifted because of this edit. I mean, 18 more minutes, that's obviously going to change things a little bit. And he was so pissed off about that he tried to remove his name from the movie. But the Directors Guild Association has a rule in it that says if you're a director and you use a pseudonym in any piece of media, you're not allowed to remove your name from the title of the movie.
Oh, wow.
So during before he tried to get his name removed, he used a pseudonym in Variety ads for himself for some reason. So he wasn't allowed to change his name. He wanted to put in Humpty Dumpty as his name. That's what he was going to replace his name with. instead of removing it. But they said no to that. So he sued them, the DGA, for reports are slightly varied between $200 and $275 million because they put his name on this movie. It was later dropped / he failed. I knew he was going to lose it.
Wow.
And 10 years later, he regretted his actions and he said he wished he hadn't like flipped out so much on it, but he still doesn't like the movie and he doesn't like the edit. And he's not a fan of the movie still.
Wow.
That's the Humpty Dumpty story.
Nice.
Pretty
Wow.
fun one, huh? A lot less fun than
That's
you think.
fuck-
No one fell off a
Yeah,
wall.
I mean, that's got to be brutal. Like, how stupid is that on the backside of these things? Like that's what
Well,
happens. Like
Edward
it
Norton
sucks.
editing a movie. I mean, come on. What?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Did you hear about the other lawsuit? So with the band that had the tattoo on the Duplessis' arm?
Yeah. What was it? It was Anti-Heroes or something like that.
Yeah, the anti-heroes. They're a
Punk bands.
they're a punk band who's expressly not racist.
Oh, okay.
But they got it. There's a tattoo on Duplessis' arm in the film that has the punk band's name. They tried to sue New Line Cinema around that too.
And then
'Cause
failed.
New Line Cinema asked them permission, and they said no. And then they did come out. They have a song called NLC, which is not nice about New Line Cinema. There's kind of a fun. There's a Tim Butters article in Looker.com called "The Untold Truth of American History X," which references a whole bunch of other like sources for all these different things that happen. It's not untold truth though, man. It's just all their reference. But whatever. It's a nice compilation of all that different stuff.
Nice. And there was a guy that had a Screwdriver t-shirt on, which is another band, but they're a skinhead band. So they didn't want to sue because it aligned with their, points of view.
Yeah, they're like, that's good for us.
Yeah.
Yes. We're good with
it's a
that.
more fan.
That's right.
The Derek and the Cameron characters are based on real Nazis. I'm not going to name the names, but they're, based on real characters. The diner at the end of the movie when he's getting like him and his brother some food, kind of towards
Right.
the
And
end.
we feel like it's weird there because it seems like they're almost going to go into some new chapter of what's going on here where he's going to go and somehow stop some other killing.
I actually had
I
some
don't
questions.
know.
So like the night before he went to the Nazi party and he punched Cameron in the face, but he
Right.
didn't hurt Seth. They got away. But also that same night, Cameron apparently went out with Seth and then they got hurt separately
Right.
from that
Exactly.
incident.
Right.
Yeah, where did that come
know.
from?
I don't know.
Who was that?
Yeah,
don't know
what
what's
was
going
going
on.
on there? And then they had this
At all,
plan where he
yeah.
was like, Edward Norton was going to work with like the police and the teacher to do some undercover mission, but it
Right,
wasn't
right.
clear
Like,
what
Yeah,
the
and
fuck
it
that
came
was
out
gonna
of
be.
nowhere when
Right.
they
He
showed.
was going to somehow go back to the skinheads who are going to be like, "Hey, bro, welcome
Yeah,
back."
it's like,
What?
dude, don't you
I
understand
mean,
what just happened? That doesn't make any sense.
Also,
Anyway.
why does everybody like this guy so much?
Edward Norton?
Yeah.
Because
He's
he's so
Edward
smart.
Norton.
He's so smart.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like why? I don't know. Whatever.
He's really smart.
Because he's
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
he's
they,
the
they
mole.
told you, TC.
Potential mole.
He's the only
Yeah.
non-idiot Nazi in this whole movie.
Right,
That's why.
Yeah.
right.
That's
Because they told us
Ah.
that like 5 times. They're like, Cameron, he doesn't look as cool. He's real smart, but he gets to use the cool looking Edward Norton. And they made sure to show us how cool Edward Norton was because he was jacked in the beginning,
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
real cool. So we got
He
that.
did
in
look
there.
good. I gotta say.
He
Looked
was
good.
very strange. Yeah. He's never
You
been
really
that jacked
appreciate
before.
it with all the slow mo. You really could appreciate
I mean,
it.
you really do.
see
You just kind
how
of
well
see
the
every
abs
pore.
were defined.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
So he's not even jiggling in slow-mo. Look at this guy.
It's unbelievable.
Put me in slow-mo without my shirt on. People are leaving the theater.
Good luck.
Oh man.
Edward Norton turned down a role in Saving Private Ryan for this. Probably a good idea for his career. He probably wasn't one of the main guys, I would imagine, in
Yeah.
that movie. Joaquin
no,
Phoenix
yeah.
turned down this role due to
Oh.
distasteful subject matter.
I don't
Oh.
even know what. Like,
No idea.
what is that? I've never heard of that film. Have you heard of that?
I don't think
film?
that's real. Hold on. Let's find out. That might be a mistake.
Wait, what?
the distasteful subject matter. That was a film.
No. He
Oh,
turned down
oh.
the role to this one due to the
Oh,
distasteful subject
I
matter.
thought you said to do, and I'm like,
I was
okay,
like, that's what I did
so-
too. I was like, that can't be right. What is that?
Joaquin
What movie
Phoenix
is
in
that?
Distasteful subject
Distasteful
matter.
subject
this February. You're not gonna like this film.
Yeah. It's objectionable.
Whoops. Sounds like I misspoke there. Okay.
It
Last
was
piece
fun.
of trivia. Oh, well, I guess I'll ask this question first. Did either of you pick up on the quote at the end?
I had to look it up
Yeah.
and see where it came from.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed that the movie didn't tell us, like, didn't say, like, Abraham Lincoln, 1861.
That was
No one's going to know that.
That was before the
true.
Civil War, too, I think, is like his inaugural address.
I mean, it also, I don't know. There were, like, death by 1,000 cuts. That's just kind of like, what are you, too stupid not to know the Abraham Lincoln quote,
Yeah.
huh?
What are you
too stupid to appreciate this movie?
what it is, you dummy.
I just don't like that. I mean, some things are just put the person in there, put the date in there, write it on the screen, like a regular movie. You're gonna end it with a quote, write it, and then credit it.
Right.
Come on,
Come on.
That's all I got for trivia, guys.
Okay.
All right.
What are we doing next week? Well, would you put it in the top 250?
I probably would.
Yeah, I would.
There's not another one like it.
I understand.
Except for Black Klansman and Battle of Algiers.
Yeah, Battle of Algiers is
kind of.
better for
I like
understanding
Battle of
it,
Algiers was a lot better than this. I don't know. Anyway, what are we doing next week?
but I don't know.
I gotta.
What do you got?
You gonna be sick next week, John? What do you think?
I'm gonna be sick I'm gonna be sick for the next several months.
Through the holidays.
More or less.
Yeah,
this
through the
is what I
holidays.
do. This is part of my MO. It's just what I do.
So the next movie on the list, speaking of Saving Private Ryan.
Oh.
But it's getting towards Oscar season, and I was looking at the movies that might be in contention for a lot of Oscars or whatever.
Are there any?
I mean, Oppenheimer's number one right now, according to Variety, is like the most likely to get a lot of Oscars. American Fiction is number 2, but that isn't out yet. Barbie is number 3. We already did that one, Barbie.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon, 3.5 hour long Scorsese.
Right.
Oh,
An interesting topic, but man.
Poor
I don't know
Things
about-
isn't out yet, but that movie looks cool. The Holdovers, filmed at my high school, not out yet.
Ooh. American Fiction sounds fun.
Yeah. Maestro, I don't know what that's about.
I don't either.
Past Lives is available. You can watch that one.
What's that?
It's an A24 movie. I think it's about people that could have had a relationship and then didn't, meeting up later in life and exploring what could have been. Is that a no? It was a
No.
grumble. That was a no.
2 childhood friends over the course of 24 years.
TC, this is the kind of movie that you love. It's like it looks like Before Sunrise.
Kind of a okay.
So you might love it. It's got a 94 Metacritic with 51 reviews. That's pretty insane.
Okay. What is it? IMDb? Does it got a score already? IMDb?
Got an 8. 8.0. That's pretty good.
On the cusp.
Yeah. All right. So Past Lives, what do you think?
Yeah.
So we get it.
Yeah.
We can
I
get
think
it.
you'd be interested in it. Okay.
$6. Past Lives going to get some noms. Maybe an A24 movie.
Maybe. Yeah.
Does it have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, but it's high. It's like 92%.
Oh, 97. 97.
97.
255 votes. 97%.
97 with 92% audience score. So it's also
Ooh, nice.
yeah.
Okay.
That's good stuff. All right. I'm excited.
Well,
Well,
Let's do that.
sweet.
All right.
Past lives
All
it
right.
is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys next week.
all right.
All right.
All right.
Later.
See you guys.
Stop 'em